On the 24th of August, in the early afternoon, my mother drew his attention to a cloud of unusual size and appearance. It was not clear at that distance from which mountain the cloud was rising. It was afterwards known to be Vesuvius. It rose to a great height on a sort of trunk, and then split off into branches, I imagine because it was thrust upwards by the first blast, and then left unsupported as the pressure subsided, or else it was borne down by its own weight, so that it spread out and gradually dispersed. Ashes were already falling, hotter and thicker as the ships drew near, followed by bits of pumice and blackened stones, charred and cracked by the flames. The carts that we had brought were moving in opposite directions, though the ground was perfectly flat, and they wouldn't stay in place even with their wheels blocked by stones. In addition, it seemed as though the sea was being sucked backwards, as if it were being pushed back by the shaking of the land. Certainly, the shoreline moved outwards, and many sea creatures were left on dry sand. Behind us were frightening dark clouds, rent by lightning, twisted and hurled, opening to reveal huge figures of flame. These were like lightning, but bigger. It wasn't long thereafter that the cloud stretched down to the ground and covered the sea. Now came the dust, though still thinly. I look back. A dense cloud looms behind us, following us like a flood poured across the land. Let us turn aside while we can still see, lest we be knocked over in the street and crushed by the crowd of our companions. We had scarcely sat down when a darkness came that was not like a moonless or cloudy night, but more like the black of closed and unlighted rooms. You could hear women lamenting, children crying, men shouting. It grew lighter, though that seemed not a return of day, but a sign that the fire was approaching. The fire itself actually stopped some distance away, but darkness and ashes came again. We stood up and shook the ash off again and again, otherwise we would have been covered with it and crushed by the weight. I might boast that no groan escaped me in such perils, no cowardly word, but that I believed that I was perishing with the world, and the world with me, which was a great consolation for death. At last the cloud thinned out, and dwindled to no more than smoke or fog. Soon there was real daylight. The sun was even shining, though with the lurid glow it has after an eclipse. The sight that met our still terrified eyes was a changed world, buried in ash like snow.